Hey, it's Roy Calvin back for another episode of You Don't Know Anything About Women, where I'm giving you the dating advice that the mods of Reddit don't want you to hear. For real, I tried to start a subreddit for this podcast and it was banned within a couple of minutes. So, really, they don't want you to get the real advice, only advice that goes along with their way of thinking. I'm going to give you the real advice right here. Let's get into the first post for this episode. Everyone always says I'm a good guy. Why am I so unsuccessful with dating then? I'm 24 years old, and since I started dating 5 to 6 years back, I've always been told by people I've dated and all my friends around me that I'm a sweet, genuine person, that I'm wholesome, have good morals, know how to treat people right, that I'm one of the good ones, and don't necessarily give off fuckboy vibes. But it's just never worked out for me for some reason, and I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong. I took a few years off, from when I was 21 until I was 23, since I felt like I needed to do some self-development. And now I feel like I'm at a spot where I'd like to think I have appealing qualities about me. I go to the gym very regularly, not to date, but I wanted to improve my health. I have fun hobbies, both creative and physical activity related. I'm in grad school for a very well-respected career that I'm really passionate about. I've had some fun experiences and dressed pretty well. I've been complimented on it. I've also been getting hit on by men more and more the past few years. Maybe I don't give off straight vibes? I'm in therapy to work on my emotional health. I'm a relatively social person and I'm able to talk with anyone for the most part. And I'm always trying to work on myself and try to find new ways to grow and achieve goals and be a better person overall, regardless of if I'm dating or not. Yet all the dating experiences, primarily through the apps I've had, have gone nowhere. I've been getting matches and I've changed from long-term to short-term to unsure throughout the years. It gets upsetting and I'd like to think it's not something I'm necessarily doing, but after so many times, it's hard not to think that the only commonality is me. It's difficult when I see people around me getting in and out of relationships and I'm always the single one. I've really focused recently on trying not to be too invested in people while dating, though I do get excited when I think something's going to work out only to be followed by disappointment. Is this just how dating is nowadays? Do I just keep trying until someone sticks? There is one glaring omission to me in this guy's post, and that is that he doesn't mention how he looks. So he could have all these things going for him. Okay, he goes to the gym, grad school. I guess that means he has money or whatever. But if he's like, fucking super ugly, then none of that really matters. And a certain level of ugliness could be overcome even. But that's just something I would like to know from this post. Like, am I working with like a 7 here or with like a 3? He mentions that guys hit on him and maybe he doesn't give off vibes that he's straight. I wouldn't worry about that, honestly. I mean, based on the comments that I've gone through from him, he does go out on dates with girls. So I don't think girls would go on a date with him and then think, you know what? I think he's gay. I'm going to back out from seeing him again. You're wholesome. You have good morals. You know how to treat people right. These sound like traits that I had before I started getting laid a lot and actually taking dating seriously and putting a lot of effort into it. I think I still have all of those qualities, but I don't really think those are things that you can depend on to get laid and have success in dating. I don't like that he took a few years off to do some self-development or whatever, spend time working on yourself, and that advice gets given on Reddit a lot, and you can just see in this guy's post, it doesn't amount to shit. You need to actually put effort into dating, not to yourself. Now, of course, you can work on yourself for your own personal gain, but don't expect that it's going to translate into dating success. Same goes for saying that he has fun hobbies that are creative and some that are physical. Girls don't really care about any of that stuff. I don't care about girls' hobbies. Like, what does it matter to me what she does? It doesn't make a girl attractive to me. And I don't think that kind of stuff makes you attractive to a girl either. All these things are kind of like just stuff that normal people would do. And I don't think they make you attractive to a girl. I'm also deeply offended that this guy says he doesn't necessarily give off fuckboy vibes. How dare you? Is that an insult to fuckboys like myself? Of course, I'm joking somewhat, but girls might like that vibe. You might need to go on your dates with more of a I am going to bang this girl tonight. I've read some of the comments that he's left. He says on his dates that he always pays for drinks or coffee, which loyal listeners of the podcast will know I'm against. But if it's like a coffee, okay, I can understand that. He says that if he goes on a second date, they're usually interested, but then back out for the third date. Try to bring these women home with you on the first date is my first advice, especially if you've just been doing the same thing, matching a girl, going on a date, and whatever. You don't try to kiss her. You don't do anything like fuckboyish, I guess, in your own words. Mix that up. Like, 90% of my dates, actually, it's got to be higher than 90%. I try to pull them to my place on the first date, and you will probably be surprised how many come along with you. His final question is, do I just keep trying until someone sticks? Yes, keep trying that, but also, I don't want you to have this mindset of just, the first person who shows interest enough in me to go on dates 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to be totally invested in them, and that's my new girlfriend, and oh my God, I'm going to stop talking to girls after that. No, just continue your dating. Take some of the advice that I've applied, which is mainly if you get a girl out, try to pull her home on the first date and just see if that changes your results. It's also brought up in the comments that his problem is that he's using dating apps. And of course, I recommend talking to girls in person, but I'm not really getting into that too much for this guy's advice because he says that he's getting dates. Actually, he said he's been on dates with like 6 or 7 people in the past 7 or 8 months or so. So I'd like to be going on a lot more than that if I was really hardcore looking for a girlfriend or some new regs or whatever. But it's not like he's working with no girls. 6 to 7 girls in the past 8 months. Something's going on there. Try pulling them home. Let's move on to our next post. I got out, but not sure if I was being a jerk or if I was being bombed. So 2 weeks ago, I met a girl online. We hit it off and text a bunch, and we agreed to meet. Meetup goes super well. We have a good time. We agree to her coming over on the weekend. She comes over, we watch a movie and have dinner. Things start getting dirty and whatnot, and I tell her we should hold off and get to know each other. I do this because I'm unsure if I even like this person. She explains she's comfortable with me and really would like to, blah blah blah. So we have sex. It was good. Next day I work all day and she comes over again. Things get frisky, but I stay reserved as I would prefer to have gone on a date or something, but she is too tired and we end up just sleeping. Following day we get breakfast and this is where it starts to get weird. She starts asking about kids and if I'd like to have them, and marriage and whatnot. I guess normal questions, but at this point she doesn't even really know anything about me. I take the rest of the day to myself and go get some chores done and process my feelings and whatnot. She calls me later in the afternoon to tell me she is buying some package for my birthday so we can do this activity together. Then she tells me she told her mom about me and how she is excited to take me to meet her and about plans for New Year's, etc. All of this compounded and freaked me out, so I bailed. I called her and just said, this doesn't work for me and I no longer want to see her. She texted the next day basically telling me I blindsided her and I'm a horrible person and she doesn't deserve treatment like that. Then she goes on to state that my only goal was to use her for sex. She keeps texting me and I finally reply calmly in a nice way. Then she responds to that message and says not to reply to her anymore, lol. I know this is just my side of the story, but I've never experienced something like this and I truly don't understand what just happened. Should I not have bailed? Should I have communicated my worries better? This whole thing honestly just freaked me out. Well, I've got bad news for this guy. It seems like he actually might be a girl. Because he says that things are getting dirty with the girl, and he tells her we should hold off and get to know each other. What the hell, man? You're unsure if you even like this person. Are you attracted to her physically in that moment? I guess you were, because eventually you did the right thing and you had sex with her. I don't know. Maybe this guy is like really good looking and it doesn't take much effort for him to get into a situation where girls are telling him, hey, I want to have sex with you. But oh my God. I mean, if it's me, I went out on the date with the girl. I brought her back to my place. I obviously have a physical attraction for her. If I'm down to have sex, of course. One comment calls him out and says, you didn't like her, but you had sex with her and let her stay over. You lack boundaries and don't respect yourself. And the guy says that it's true. He admits it. He says it's all spot on. The problem is that the boundary is wrong. You have a hot girl in your house. I assume you think she's hot, again, but you don't want to have sex with her. What's wrong with you? Even though that's not specifically what he's asking for advice on, I need to state that. I mean, what are we all doing this for? What are we all dating for, if not to have a hot girl in our house who wants to have sex with us? Come on. But you're wondering if you were a jerk? No, you weren't a jerk, despite what that commenter and some other commenters tell you. So she comes over again, and this guy seems to, it's a bit vague the way it's written, but it seems that he resists having sex with her. So, okay, whatever. I just covered that part. You should want to do that. But anyway, she stays over and sleeps. They get up the next day, and she's asking him about kids and if he'd like to have them. And he thinks that it's too quick to be asking that. I have no problem with the girl asking that at all. I respect her for asking that. She probably knows exactly what she wants and why she's dating. She probably wants someone to have kids with fairly soon. And so if you don't want to have kids, then you just tell her that and she says, okay, well, I'm moving on because that's something that I want. So I don't want to waste any more of my time. So I think that's a great question. There's no problem with her saying that. She told her mom about you. I mean, yeah, that's a bit too much, obviously. But some girls are really, really close with their mom. It's like their best friend. So, if a girl tells her best friend, hey, I met this new guy and we've been out a couple of times and I really like him, it's not that crazy. But also, I don't think you're in the wrong for leaving because this kind of behavior makes you uncomfortable. Now, if you liked the girl enough and, she was cute and you wanted to keep having sex with her, then I think you kind of were in the wrong, not to her, just to yourself, to let this opportunity slip through your fingers. She could have stayed around for a long time, but just the fact that she's telling her mom makes you bail. That could be a negative thing. You could just tell her, you know what, let's slow down there. We're just, on our second or third date or whatever. We don't need to be talking about what I'm going to do with your family on New Year's Eve. Let's chill out here. I mean, I've had a few similar things happen, and it's never really gotten too crazy. I remember one girl, she was 18, so like really young. It doesn't really surprise me that she would act like a bit immature. But we're out on our date, like eating together. I forget if her mom called her or if she called her mom. But anyway, it got asked to me from this 18-year-old I'm eating with, like, hey, I want to video call with my mom and put you on and show her you. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I mean, at that point, the girl's out on a date with me. I'm doing what I can to get her back to my apartment and have sex with her. So I didn't have a problem doing that, even though that could be seen as a little bit obsessive in the early ongoings. But everything turned out fine with that girl. And I think we met like maybe 6 or 7 times before it ended. And even though it's not something I'd like for the girl to really follow through on, it's kind of nice when a girl acts like this kind of obsessive way with you, where she's like telling her mom and asking you about the future and, oh my God, are we going to do this? Okay. She's just like assuming you're going to be together forever after you've been on one date. I kind of like that. So I wouldn't like to toss away a girl as quickly as you did because of that. It's like it's kind of a plus if you have the confidence and the ability and the skill to keep it under control. I had this other girl. It's just really crazy when situations like this happen. We were out on our first date. She was honestly one of the hottest girls I've ever slept with. So spoiler alert, we did sleep together. I don't know, definitely top 5, just super hot. And when we're back in my apartment, like before we've even had sex, before we've even kissed, I don't know, she's talking about like traveling with me. She wants to travel. She's talking about how she has a car and I don't, and she can drive me around the city whenever I want her to. And she's asking me if she's allowed to stay over the night. And again, we haven't had sex at this point. I'm like, let's just slow down here. And okay, we haven't even like kissed yet. You're asking to sleep in my bed. Let's just slow down. And then she I think it was her own strategy. She's like, a while later, she's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go home tonight. She's like pulling back on her obsessiveness because I'm kind of calling it out and being like, let's slow down. But no, eventually, we had sex and she did stay the night. And then the next day, she invites me out again, which is very strange for a girl to do, like invite you out the next night. She says, like, I'm going to the club with my friends and blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to keep some distance. And I kind of regret this, but I told her, like, no, I'm just going to, like, hang out with my friends tonight. I got, like, other stuff to do because I don't want to go see a girl 2 nights in a row. It's just too fast and shows like way too much commitment right away. And she got like kind of upset at my response and she kind of ghosted me from then on. And I was trying to get her out again for like the next few months and it just didn't happen. It was really, really strange. If I had my time back, instead of telling her that, no, I can't meet tonight, I would tell her, no, I can't meet tonight, but are you free like tomorrow or this day in the upcoming week? Because I think she took me saying, no, I can't meet tonight as like, I don't want to meet you, which seems irrational, but she was a super obsessive and irrational girl, so it makes sense. So missed out on seeing her a second time. So you're not the asshole in this situation for bailing. I just hope that you didn't want to see this girl again, because in that case, you shouldn't have bailed on something that, overcomable, if that's a word. And next time you bring a hot girl home with you, want to have sex with her. If you don't want to, I don't even know why you would bring her over in the first place. You shouldn't, honestly. I mean, I always tell people to try to get girls to come home with them on the first date. That's what I said in the previous post that I gave advice on. But if for some strange reason you actually don't want to have sex with them, just don't even bother to bring them home. Here's the next post for this episode. She canceled the date twice, offered up specific alternatives each time. I matched with this girl on Hinge. We hit it off well and she initially asked me out, but I had declined because the night she asked me out, I wasn't free. I asked her if she could do 2 days later. She said yes. We did a brief phone call. After the minute-long phone call, she canceled twice. The first time she wasn't feeling well, but gave me a specific date later in the week to meet. I accepted, then she canceled again and said we could do Saturday. I said that was fine. So far, I haven't heard from her and she hasn't canceled the Saturday plan. Do you think she's still interested? I would say from all of my dating experience, if a girl gives you alternatives, then yes, she is still interested. Even girls who just cancel without giving an alternative date, there is still a chance that they're interested. It's just kind of in the way that they write their message. I can't really even describe it. It's important to keep in mind that some girls are just serial time wasters, and they might not even realize that they're doing it. But some girls just love scheduling dates, cancel, schedule, cancel. So it's really just up to you of how much you want to deal with it. Like if she seems really cute or you have a lot in common and you really want to meet her, then okay, I can deal with a couple of, cancel, schedule. But for certain girls, like if it's just a girl that I met and she's okay and I don't have any interest in her long term, I just want to have sex with her, then, probably the first time she cancels, I'll just be like, yeah, I'm not going to pursue this anymore, depending on how much female abundance I have in my life at that moment in time. The details here that really make me confused about this guy's way of thinking is that the second time she canceled, she said that she could do Saturday, and the guy said that's fine. He said so far I haven't heard from her and that she hasn't changed the Saturday plan. Now this was written on a Wednesday, so if you schedule a date, then that's the date. We don't need any talking in between it. I mean, usually when I schedule a date with a girl, I don't talk to them again until the date happens. It can vary slightly based on what country I'm in or whatever, but just generally, I don't say anything once the date is scheduled. So the fact that you have a date scheduled in 3 or 4 days or whatever, it doesn't matter. What do you expect her to say? The date is scheduled. That's when you guys are going to talk. You don't need to talk anymore over texting. But also anything could happen. For me, I usually like to send a message the day before the date saying like, hey, see you tomorrow at this time when we plan to meet. And that just gives you a little bit of a chance to not waste any of your time. Because, if she doesn't reply, okay, just don't even bother to show up to the date. Or she could reply and say, oh, actually, I'm busy again. Then, of course, you don't show up to the date. If you have 4 or 5 days of silence and no conversation from the time that you set up the date until the day of the date, that's totally fine. But you do want to confirm that date the day before it's going to happen just to make sure that you're not going to go somewhere and waste your fucking time. So I'd say she's still interested, but these are human beings we're dealing with, and anything can change at a moment's notice. Don't be freaked out by a few days of silence and just confirm your date the day before it's going to happen. Let's go on to the next post. Lost the weight, but life is the same. I'm 22 years old, and I lost 23 kilograms, from 91 kilograms to 68 kilograms in the last 2 years, and I'm 172 centimeters tall. Side note for all of us Americans, that's about 150 pounds and 5'6". I always thought if I lost weight, people would acknowledge me more, would be getting more attention from girls, be easier to talk to, all of it. I can honestly say I've noticed no difference. In fact, my mom even hates that I'm not bigger anymore and says I look terrible all the time. It's quite discouraging. In fact, the only change I've noticed is internal, that I do feel more confident and dress up all the time because it makes me happy and feel good, but it doesn't feel like anyone else seems to care, like I'm still so invisible. Keep in mind, I did not become skinny fat. I got stronger at this weight at the gym than any point in my life, and I have a decent body, but not shredded yet. Maybe 3 months since the cut is still going. I don't feel like the time was a loss since my lifestyle improved and I'm happier and more fit. But when I was fat, I always felt like I would not feel invisible if I was skinny, but that's not the case and it hurts. Any suggestions on what I could do? Yes, this is external validation that I'm angry about not having, which is not very healthy, but I've been sorely starved of it for 22 years. Like there's not much more I could squeeze out of the lemon, it feels. Every component of my life improved from money, lifestyle, weight, gym, fashion, hygiene, but still it didn't do anything. Here's how I consider going to the gym. Of course, I go to the gym all the time. I'm a lot stronger than I was when I started going 12 years ago or whatever. But I consider having a worked out body, however you want to define that, as the bare minimum for success with women. So going to the gym, working out, losing all that fat, that doesn't give you an advantage with women. That just puts you at minimally acceptable. You were a -1 before, and that's brought you up to a 0 on whatever scale it is I'm talking about. So many people go to the gym now. I don't know if I just didn't realize when I was a teenager or whatever, But anyone who's fucking worth anything works out. So you're not special, I'm not special just because we work out. We are just now minimally acceptable. I don't have data to back me up for certain, but I feel like girls don't really even care about like your muscle composition. I don't really think it attracts them to you. It's much more about like your vibe and your words than it is how you look. What I find is that when I have a girlfriend or a reg or whatever, they become like appreciative of the body that I've built. They like my body because my body is a part of me, if that makes any sense. Like, oh, I really like Roy, and okay, he has muscles, so I like them because they're a part of him and I like this guy. They don't just see your muscles and go, oh, wow, that guy is so hot. Maybe they do at like a crazy, I don't know, bodybuilder level, which of course I'm not at and you're not at either. I wonder what venues you're talking about that you want to get attention from girls, because you can see, strong or at least not fat guys anywhere, whether it's on the street or in the club or on apps, and they're not getting attention from girls either. So, I mean, that's just proves it right there, right? Like, that's not what's going to get you attention from women, just not being fat. I can think about what attracts me to women and probably what attracts you as well. Like, just because a woman is not fat, that doesn't mean that I'm going to like her. Like, fat girls are just like not even in my field of vision. Like, when I'm out on the streets looking for new girls to talk to, fat girls, they're not even considered. They are on the same level as men. They're just not anyone that I have any interest in, and I'm filtering them out of the girls that I am looking for. But congrats on losing the weight. Like, if you get a girlfriend or get a wife and get married someday, have kids, then they're all going to really appreciate the fact that you're probably not going to die from fucking heart disease or whatever. You say you've improved every component of your life, from money, lifestyle, weight, gym, fashion, hygiene, but it didn't do anything for your dating life. That's a common theme on this show. A lot of girls won't even give you the time of day for you to show them that you have all these things going for you. I also don't know if you're using apps or talking to girls like on the streets, cold approach, but obviously I recommend cold approaching. But if you're not doing anything, whether it's that or apps, I mean, of course you're not getting any attention. Girls are not just going to come up to you and say that you're cute and they want to fuck you. You got to put effort in somewhere, whether that's like getting some good pictures for your dating profile or just getting the balls to go up and talk to a girl. All the stuff that you've done is going to make your life way better, but it's not necessarily going to translate into dating success. And that's fine. You can do other things to get the dating success, especially the fact that you're 22 years old. I wish that I started getting serious about dating when I was 22. Like, it took me way too long. Like, if I knew now what I knew when I was 22, I mean, I think in the US, the average number of sexual partners for a man is like 12 or something. Like, I've lived so many lifetimes. But you could probably multiply that by 3, 4, or 5 if I knew what I know now when I was 22. So it's good that you're trying to think about it right now. How do I get good at this dating thing? So put in some effort and you'll be fine. Keep going to the gym, but don't expect that to bring you results. It won't. I consider going to the gym like brushing my teeth. Like, I don't even like doing it, but I have to do it. There's no choice. And if I don't do it, of course, no girls are going to be interested in me at all. All right, let's get into the fifth and final post for this episode. This is a quick one. My date told me that asking for consent was cringe. So yesterday I went on a date with this woman. We had a great date, had fun and everything. At the time of leaving, I told her that I liked her and asked her if I could kiss her goodbye. She told me that if I hadn't asked, it would have been yes, but now that I'm asking, it's no. She left and blocked me on Messenger. Since when has asking for consent become a red flag? Well, to answer that question, since the dawn of time, probably. It just destroys the moment. Girls, they're not going to have sex with you if they don't want to. Like, you don't need to ask for consent. If you go to, like, I don't know, take her pants off, she'll tell you no or, grab your hand or whatever. And of course, you would pull back at that point. You don't need to vocalize it. It's just kind of similar how, if you meet a girl for a date, you can't tell her, like, hey, I want to have sex with you. Because it just ruins the vibe. Of course you want to, but you can't vocalize it. You need to communicate that through nuance. I also kind of relate it to putting on a condom. There's just some situations where, you're ready to have sex with this girl. It's kind of like passionate. It's perfect. Then you got to, oh, hang on a second. I got to put this piece of rubber on my cock. It just kind of, it's some situations and some girls more than others, but it takes you out of the moment for a second. Like, this sucks. So that's how she feels. Now, let's read a comment here from a girl on Reddit, and girls on Reddit are the worst people to take dating advice from. They don't know shit. They're most likely ugly. It says, you seem self conscious enough to not want to risk a woman feeling uncomfortable. That's a very good trait that not all men have. She's a bit weird for thinking that, not gonna lie, I don't see the issue. Ignore this and move on while upholding the same values. No, wrong. Don't move on and uphold the same values. Next time you're in this situation, don't ask. Just kiss. Believe me, if she doesn't want to kiss you, she's not going to kiss you and she will make it known. In life, sometimes you've got to make yourself and other people feel uncomfortable to get what you want. And you're not going to know if that woman feels uncomfortable until you try to kiss her. When, she will kiss you back, which is great, or she'll say, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, no big deal. We can end it right there. I don't understand this notion of like uncomfortability. Is it comfortable when, you text a woman and she ghosts you? Is that comfortable? Did she care about your thoughts? I'm not trying to come across as butthurt here, but like dating is uncomfortable. There's going to be uncomfortable moments in life and everything. When I go up to a girl and I try to talk to her and she just ignores my existence, doesn't say a word, that's uncomfortable for me. It's just the way it is. This guy says in the comments that he hates when people make him feel unsafe, so he tries to make people feel safe with him. This is a terrible way of thinking because this implies that if you try to kiss the girl, it's going to make her feel unsafe, and people are only safe if you don't try to kiss them. There's just awful advice in the comments. Like this one woman saying, you can ask for consent and be sexy. Ugh, gross. Come on, this is not how real life works. Now, I understand based on everything you might read on Reddit or whatever, or just from society in general, that, oh my God, I'm afraid that this girl is going to like freak out if I try to kiss her and she's going to get pissed off and oh my God. No, just don't worry about all that shit. Try to kiss the girl. She will let you know if she doesn't want to be kissed. One comment, pretty far down, sums it up pretty well. It says, there's what works on the internet and what works consistently in real life. That's it. They're two different things. Okay, that's it for this episode of You Don't Know Anything About Women. Check out the link in the show notes if you want to get in touch or support the show. See you next time.